to share with you my top 10 kitchen staples, the food that I always have at home and I'm eating every single day really. So I'm going to go through all these 10 items, and honestly it was quite hard to pick out my absolute top 10 because I have so many foods that I buy and eat on a daily basis, but I think that I found my real top 10 favorites that is very cheap, healthy, and I'm eating every single day. So let's start, and I'm gonna start with the frozen section because I want to put that back in the freezer again before it melts. So first of all, I have here some broccoli, some frozen broccoli, and I always have some frozen vegetables at home, but especially broccoli is one of my favorites because it's delicious. So the thing with frozen broccoli is that I can keep it in the freezer for a long time instead of having it fresh in the fridge. So that's very convenient for me. And I really love broccoli because I think it's very versatile. I eat broccoli for breakfast, or my part one of my breakfast before I go to my oats, but I'm going to talk about that in a second. So I have my bowl of vegetables in the morning, and that often consists of broccoli amongst some other vegetables. And broccoli I also use for lunch and dinner when I make stir fries, or I eat it just cooked or steamed. And yeah, I just love broccoli. And broccoli is also really good if you have some nutritional yeast on it. That's so delicious. So if you haven't tried that, you really should. So next up we have some frozen blueberries. These are store-bought, and normally we have our own picked blueberries in the freezer because in the late summer we go up to the forest that's nearby and we pick our own blueberries and put them in the freezer. And usually that's gonna last us almost the whole year until it's time to pick some new ones. But this time we have been eating lots of blueberries, or we didn't pick enough last summer, so we have been buying some blueberries as well. And to be honest, they are not as good as the ones that you pick yourself, because I think these are the American blueberries. They're quite big and they're white inside and doesn't really taste that much. But the ones that we have here in the forest, they are very small, and when you bite into them they are very colorful. So they're very dark, red, purpley, bluish, and it's gonna stain everything. So you have to be a bit careful because after you've been eating a handful of them, you're gonna be blue everywhere. But those are really good. So usually I don't buy blueberries, but I always have blueberries or some other berries at home in my freezer for breakfast usually, or a snack, but mostly for my oatmeal. So I'm gonna put these back in the freezer again so they don't melt, and I will be right back. Okay, so next up, since we were talking about blueberries and breakfast, we can talk about oats. The trusty oats that you can use for so many different things. And yeah, I mean, I said I eat oatmeal every morning, and that could be the cooked oatmeal or the overnight oats you put in the freezer and make the night before. And I use oats for making date balls or some sort of muffins or baking in general. There's so many things you can make with oats, and they are very filling, and yeah, I just love eating oats. And yeah, I don't know what to say more about oats, but they are fantastic, and I always have them in my not in my fridge, but I have them in my pantry. And to go along with the oats in the morning, I have bananas, and I feel that's very a vegan thing to say that you have bananas at home, but I feel most people do have bananas at home, not only vegans. But the thing that we always make sure of is to have lots of bananas and to buy them in different phases, because we like them when they are very spotty and have those brown spots on them. So these are not quite ripe yet, in my opinion, because I want them to be really sweet, so we can use them for baking and in our oatmeal, because the sweetness from the bananas, when they are ripe, that makes the recipe taste really good. If they are more like yellow-green, that's gonna be very not as sweet, and to me that tastes really bad. I don't like the taste of green bananas, and I think that it makes it like a really strange like feeling on my tongue. But I don't know, some people like the bananas really green, but I don't. So we buy them in different phases, as I said, and we let them ripe. So we always have like a big stash with like bananas in different phases of ripeness. So there's always bananas at hand, so we don't have to wait a week until we can have a banana, because that has happened sometimes, and it always makes us really sad when we can't have bananas because we didn't buy them in time. But yeah, I always have bananas with my, like in baking and in my oatmeal in the morning. I don't often eat them as is, although I like it that way. I just tend to eat other fruits as a snack. So yeah, next up we can talk about another, I guess, breakfast item, and that is cabbage. And that's maybe not a normal breakfast item for people, but for me it is. This one specific is like the fresh cabbage that you buy like in the summertime, and although I love it, I love the like winter ones even more. So the ones that you have been storing over winter and you can buy in the winter time, they're like big and whiter and like harder, like more tough. These are more like soft and green, but nonetheless cabbage is one of my favorite vegetables, and I always cut them up in the morning and cook it or steam it, and I have that just before I eat my oatmeal. And yeah, I just love cabbage, and it's so cheap. That's one of the things that broccoli is great, but that's more expensive compared to cabbage. So that's one of the reasons I started to buy lots of cabbage, I guess, because that's very cheap and affordable. So yeah, as I said, also not only for breakfast, but I eat cabbage like in stir fries and other types of meals for lunch and dinner as well. Next, we can talk about carrots, some other vegetables, and carrots is really like one of the vegetables I just, if I feel like in a snacky mode, I want to have a snack, I just go to the fridge. Yeah, the fridge. I thought I just said freezer, but no. I go to the fridge and take a carrot and just munch on it. I'm literally a rabbit when it comes to this, because I love carrots and I always go around in the house snacking on a carrot. And normally, like if I'm out and about and I want like a snack on the go, I always go in the store to buy a couple of carrots and just munching on them on the streets. And people do look at me a bit weirdly, but I don't know. Why is eating a carrot so much more strange than just eating a, I don't know, sandwich or a candy bar or whatever on the go? So yeah, carrots is definitely one of my staples that we always have at home. I also make like carrot cake oatmeal in the morning, and I also use them in stir fries, or I boil them or eat them grated, or yeah, there's so many like uses, so many things you can use carrots for. So that's a must in my kitchen. Next up, we can talk about brown rice. I mean, I eat any rice really, but brown rice is the one I tend to buy the most and eat the most. And yeah, I eat it for lunch and for dinner with, I don't know, some vegetables, or make like stir fries with it, or what else, like falafel bowls, or I can't remember all the things I'm eating rice with, but that's really like a staple because it keeps me full, and I always just boil lots of rice and keep it in the fridge. So if I'm hungry or want something quick and fast and I don't have the time to cook, I always have some rice ready, so I can just pull it out and eat it. So that's very easy because I like when cooking is very easy and simple. Next up, when we're talking about like starches, we can talk about potatoes. I feel that's a very like thing, like all Swedish people eat lots of potatoes because that's one of our staples here, I guess. And potatoes are so versatile. You can make like endless recipes with potatoes, and they are very satiating. So I always have cooked potatoes in the fridge, like boiled potatoes, and I just pull them out. The same with the rice. If I'm hungry, I just pull them out and making a dish out of it. Eating them cold like an apple as well. Cooked, though not raw. But yeah. And then I also, like I said, boil them, put them in the oven, make them into like French fries or wedges with some spices on it, or mash it. What else? We make like cheese sauces out of potatoes, and yeah, they're so versatile. We even, but that was like a sweet potato, but we used sweet potato for a brownie. So I mean, potatoes are great and like one of my like favorite foods in the world. If I could choose like one thing, is probably potatoes. I love them so much. And then we just have 2 items left, and first I can talk about corn, and that's also one of those like starchy vegetables that we always have at home because it's in a can and you can like have it in your cupboard for a long time. And we just pull it out and make it with, like, if we're making tacos or some sort of burrito bowl, or just want to have it on the side. I mean, I love corn a lot and I could eat it as candy because it's so like sweet and good. And yeah, sometimes we just put it like in the oven in some foil paper and let it get warm, and that's really good. Or you can just put it in like boiling water and cook it up, just warm it up, and that's really good as well. Then last but not least is chickpeas, and yeah, I always have some sort of legume or beans at home, and chickpeas is the one legume that we use the most of all of them, because I like them as they are. Just drain them in some water drain them and rinse them in some water and just eat them as they are as a snack. Or we eat them like cooked in the oven with some spices, like roasted in the oven, and that's really good on top of like big bowls with vegetables and couscous or rice or something like that. Or we make hummus or different like salad dressings, sauces. We also use it for like baking things, and also since it's in a pack like this, it stays in the cupboard for a really long time, so that's very simple and easy. So yeah, I feel like all of these things are things that you can have in your kitchen for a real long time. Like even the potatoes, even the bananas, you can, if they're getting too ripe, you can just cut them up and put them in the freezer and use them for like banana ice cream or something. So I feel like all these things are things that you can have in your kitchen for a long time. They don't go bad really easily. And also, if I knew I only had all these 10 items at home one day and wanted to make meals for a full day, I know that I am safe. I can make lunch, dinner and breakfast and snacks out of these items, out of these 10 items, and know that I'm gonna eat really delicious, healthy and awesome, easy food the whole day, and I wouldn't worry at all if I didn't have anything else. So yeah, these are my top 10 staples in the kitchen, and please let me know in the comments down below what your staples are. I would love to hear what you always buy and eat. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hej då!